Good afternoon, everybody. It is my proud privilege to welcome Amna with us for a guest session on greenwashing and sustainability with the specific emphasis on Louis Vuitton. And like I always say,
Just to correct you, it's not Louis Vuitton. It's I'll be speaking broadly about luxury, the luxury industry.
okay,
Okay.
about
Yeah.
the entire luxury industry along with
Yes.
an emphasis on Louis Vuitton. So, as I always say, for all my students that I have taught in the last 20 years, I don't need to check your LinkedIn profile or ask you how to introduce you. I just know you all by heart. When did you study? What did you study? What are you doing right now? So, similarly, Amna studied with us in BBA from 2013-16 batch. Thereafter, she went to do masters in luxury management and marketing from Amylon Business School and also did a supply chain at IIT Roorkee. She is currently working with supply chain team at Louis Vuitton. She's been highly curious in the field of supply chain and logistics. She's a self-starter. She has delivered in highly challenging multicultural environment, proactive and simplistic approach towards problem solving, balancing and meeting deadlines. So when I was looking out for somebody who could give a session on luxury marketing, there were a few names that came to my mind and Amna was one of the one top on it. So Amna, I would like to welcome you and request you to start the session.
Thank you. I'll just share my screen now. Thank you so much. Let me know if this works so we get the flow right. Okay, so thank you. This has been absolutely an extraordinary moment for me to begin with. To be able to share a screen with you after 10 years on the other side. This time it feels different. Uh, Ma'am has been really kind with her introduction for me. Thank you, and I really appreciate what the university has offered me to have this opportunity today. So yeah, just to summarize, I was a student like you all are on the other side. 10 years ago, I started my journey with Amity, moved to Hermes, moved to Emilion Business School, Paris. Then to London College of Fashion, specialized in supply chain and data analytics from IIT Roorkee. And briefly, I took projects from NYU and Western Digital for cloud computing. A very brief snapshot about me. Now, having said that, I want this to not be a monologue. I really want this to be a dialogue. So I really want you guys to just, unmute yourselves and have this interactive session with me because we're going to be exploring a lot of unexplored and undiscovered themes together.
Absolutely.
And currently, as ma'am mentioned, I'm handling supply chain and logistics, a part of it for India. So I have been based out of India for the last 4 years now with Louis Vuitton. Um, I do come here in my individual capacity and alumni and with the opportunity to give something back. Now, like Professor ma'am, she mentioned that she knows us well. I would actually pick on that note because she knows that I was a stinker for numbers. I always wanted numbers to with any conversation I had with any subject I had. And I want to start this conversation with you guys based on these numbers. You know, what you see on the screen is a very interesting survey, a consumer study recently back, this dates back to actually 6 months ago, done by Bain and Co, who we extensively rely on for their valuable inputs. I want you guys to remember two numbers from here: 94% and 52%. Why this is important is 94, of course, is the people. So out of 100 of you, 94 of you are actually willing to pay more for a sustainable product. And 52 of you will actually spend more on it in future, right? Uh, just if you see the bars on the extreme left, you will realize that India actually stands at the highest in the chart, wherein we as consumers are extremely concerned about environmental sustainability. And that's a very interesting number, because if you see, you have countries like China, Italy, France, UK, the more developed nations of the world, who don't seem to be so concerned about it, right? But if you, when we talk about India, we stand at a staggering, like a very astonishing number of 85%, and that's huge. So I want you guys to remember this while we take on the discussion hands on, right? Now, here, I actually want to speak to you guys, and I want to know what, according to you all, is a sustainable product. So please feel free to unmute yourselves uh, and tell me.
I wonder if anybody will answer.
I'm sure there'll be someone. I have to. There's that one person out there who's waiting to answer.
Ayush, Adhyan, anybody?
Ma'am, a product with less carbon footprints.
Okay, that's a start.
What else?
Soha, Manish, Aditya, Pratham. Pratham has joined us. Uh,
Pratham.
Samriddhi, Yash. There's 153 of you.
It'll go up to
No, ma'am.
250. Good afternoon.
So what
Paravni,
is a
did she?
sustainable product according to you?
Paravni has not joined so far. She would have been very interested to answer. Anybody else who would like to take this question?
That's fine. I'm used to it. It's okay. Aditya Jha, Adhyan, anyone? I need one more answer. Come on, guys. This can't be a monologue. Kanav, Keshav, Krish, Mehreen, Muskan. Don't force me to unmute you now.
We never know what is going to come from that side. So let them unmute themselves.
Okay. Well, I hope this catches up, right? I hope this catches up. But going back to the discussion, I obviously wanted to know from you guys what you thought was a sustainable product. But from my interactions and key learnings that I've had, actually not learnings per se, but my interactions that I've had with a lot of people um, of over the years, I realized that people would determine a product to be sustainable if it was any of these. It was labeled like these. So it was labeled as eco-friendly, upcycled, natural, ethical, organic, low impact, sustainable, of course, recyclable, clean and conscious, right? So keywords there that I heard people that I've surveyed people, I've listened to conversations wherein they thought that when they're going in, like one of the speakers mentioned that they also mentioned carbon neutral, and would have a lesser carbon footprint. So that is sold as green, right? So so these are the keywords and labels that we all would look at, both as consumers and as corporations. And I would like to highlight here that when I'm having this conversation with you today, I want you to view it from the view of a future manager. Tomorrow, when you're on the other side, I want you to see things from that side. And that's very important. And I want you to see things from the other side of the end consumer as well, because then you will know how you have an impact on the other person, right? And when you are in that position of power, only then, if you're aware of where you are and if you're aware of things, only then you'll be able to make the right decisions, informed decisions, right? So with these words also in our mind, and 94 and 54 in terms of numbers, we move on to the next slide. Just a second. Which is actually the introduction of our very topic, which is greenwashing and sustainability. I actually call it the paradox of our century. Uh, Now, when I talk about greenwashing, why this is important is keeping in mind the labels that we just spoke about. greenwashing as a concept is not very new to our age, right? It's not very recent. This actually dates back to 1986. And in very simpler terms, like I like to keep things super simple, in very simpler terms, what greenwashing actually is that you're doing something, okay? You're advertising something, you have a campaign about something, and you have something about your supply chain specifically. What you're doing with it is that you're putting it out there, you're showcasing it out there as something very ethical and as something very sustainable. And in the process, what you're doing is you're deflecting the audiences from what is actually happening, right? So there is a huge deflection, there is a huge misconception that you are creating within your audiences, wherein you're telling them that this activity per se that we're doing, be it related to marketing or supply chain, this is very ethical and sustainable, right? So from the looks of it, okay, I want you guys to understand what greenwashing is first. From the looks of it, from the very appearance of it will appear to be sustainable, right? But that veil of sustainability is actually a distraction from the reality, right? So that brings me to very important lines right here. So sustainability is a silent revolution. It's a consistent, constant effort. But greenwashing is a very noisy
The
distraction.
distraction.
And your actions actually resonate and empty claims actually fall on deaf ears. This is a very important line that you need to understand, that sustainability is a very consistent conscious effort, and greenwashing, what you might see in the very face of it, is a very noisy distraction from what actually brands are doing, what actually companies are doing within their supply chains and within their campaigns. So broadly speaking, what this entirely entails is, of course, vagueness. There'll be a lot of vague claims that are being made, that, oh, we are sustainable, oh, we are eco-friendly, oh, we are conscious, right? There will be little to no proof as to where these claims are coming from, right? There can also be irrelevant claims, like, you can claim to avoid using a certain material or a practice which is illegal or non-standard, but in retrospect, if you think of it, it's irrelevant. If it's deemed as illegal, you're not supposed to use it, so why market it as something that you are taking pride in, right? That brings me to another observation, that sustainability is a very honest conversation between us businesses and the planet at large. And greenwashing is the deceptive monologue, right? So it always will create misconceptions regarding the actual truth. Now, before I actually go on to the next slide, I want to see what the numbers are saying. So we're at 233 people. I want any one of you to just say anything about sustainability and greenwashing. Whatever comes to your mind, I'm not going to say anything. Trust me.
Come on, guys. Now is the chance to speak.
Just say anything. Anyone. About sustainability and greenwashing. Whatever comes to your mind, I'm not going to say anything. Trust me. Tanish
I think it's
is
an
on
echo.
unmute.
Anybody?
Shreya, Shaurya, Samriddhi, Sufyan, Vansh, Zakaria, anyone? Vaibhav. Okay, I had very high expectations. I was like, we were always answering things left, right, and center, whether we made sense or not back then. And I was like, 10 years after, I'm sure things will be even brighter.
Uh, guys, come on.
Guys, this is a very important concept, not just for you, like I said, as future managers, but also as end consumers, because you are consuming greenwashed products and you are not aware of it. And I think as individuals, as humans, it's very important to have this understanding of what greenwashing means. So please speak. Adhyan, Huda, Had, okay, Aditya Saxena, please go ahead. Unmute yourself. Okay. Aditya, do you have a
Aditya, you are not
question?
unmuted.
Um, Hello,
Hi.
ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Ma'am, I was just asking, can you give some examples of greenwashed products?
Yes, I will. But I want to understand from you what you think is greenwashing.
Ma'am, as you said right now, greenwashing means that portrayal of a image that you are sustainable and your products are eco-friendly. It's a
Yes.
basically a facade.
Yes. Absolutely. I think that's a great start, Aditya. And as we dwell on the intricacies of what greenwashing is, you'll see a lot of examples that I will discuss. Thank you so much. Thank you. Anyone else?
Anybody else would like to take the call and say something?
Ma'am, may I?
I'll wait. I'm very patient. I work in supply chain. I'll wait.
Ma'am, may I?
Ayush Gandhi. Yes, please.
Ma'am, it is a marketing tactic which many companies like.
Ayush, your audibility is an issue.
Okay, ma'am, 1 minute.
Be a little louder.
Okay, I think we lost Ayush.
I think there was some network issue. No, he's here.
Uh, yeah. Okay. Then let's hop on to the next topic. Now, again, circling back to see, that's why it's important to have conversations, right? That's why it's important to know what you guys think and how we can take this further. So, how to spot greenwashing is something that I want to leave this discussion with. I want you guys to question everything that you see. Don't believe anything that is just shown to you or given to you off the bat. I want you guys to, when you leave this session, I really want you to leave with a thought that tomorrow when I'm going to go to H&M and I see a label and it says H&M conscious, I'm not just going to take it because it says H&M conscious. Tomorrow when I go to Zara and I see it's made of organic cotton, I'm not just going to buy it because it's organic cotton. I need to understand why and where this organic cotton is coming from, right? So just to simplify things, I have taken, because I come from the luxury industry background, I have taken the example of Stella McCartney. Stella McCartney has actually pioneered herself in terms of she was actually one of the first brands to jump onto the bandwagon of luxury and sustainability. Because initially, I understand that our because our impact was so low on the environment, and because the needs of the planet were so low, we thought that we don't make such a big impact. And a lot of luxury brands did not jump onto the bandwagon of adapting luxury because it was all about exclusivity. And when Stella came, she came in as a full force. Uh, but I want you to question that as well. Just because I'm saying it, don't take my word for it, right? I want you to question that. Now, what Stella does is, in terms of materials, uh, she actually has something called the banana tex, in which they use the fibers. It's the first biodegradable vegan material, the fibers from the banana plant based out of Indonesia, and they actually convert it into a canvas. So, just to give you an idea, it actually starts from here, goes to the fibers, and then ultimately what you see is a banana tex product, right? So, again, I'm coming back to you guys. 278 of you now. Okay. Come on, guys. Now you have to tell me whether this is sustainable or not. That's all I'm asking. Whether this is greenwashed or not. That's all I'm asking.
Yes or no? Just say yes or no.
Anything, anyone, anything has a doubt with regards to
Some
this?
people are raising hands. Yes, they are putting a
Okay,
thumbs
great.
up.
Yes.
Good.
Okay, they think it's good. Okay, great. I like that. Okay.
Good.
Have you joined the class? No. Join the class. No?
Okay. Do we have any more inputs? Anyone wants to understand any off the bat? What do you think of this campaign? The banana text from Stella McCartney, guys. This really sells, huh? Really sells.
This is something which I am hearing for the first time.
Yeah, it's a very interesting concept. She's like very, very interesting.
So, okay.
Okay.
Even
So
I am waiting for
majoritarily,
more.
yeah, majoritarily I'll take a yes. Should I take a yes?
Yes.
Okay, well, it is. It is. It's not a greenwashed campaign. It, in the most literal sense, Banana Text is actually one of the first 100% entirely biodegradable campaign complex material that has come forth and is now being extensively explored by other brands and companies as well, though it's still in its nascent stage. Now, from the same brand, I want you guys to look at this. Okay, this is the Infinite hoodie, guys. So Infinite hoodie this was actually a collaboration done with Adidas, and it's actually world's first fully recyclable hoodie. Come on, it's fully recyclable. That's the claim. And it's made of 100% of mucil fiber, which is one of the sustainable newly discovered fibers, and it's been really worked on actually. And threads from old garments, 40% organic cotton that has been diverted from landfills. I'm coming back to you guys. You have to tell me now. What do you think of it? What do you think of this campaign, guys? Sanskriti. Uh, okay,
Adyan
Adyan,
has raised his hand. Yes,
go
Adyan.
ahead.
Yes, ma'am. This product is, I guess, it's sustainable. But ma'am, don't you think clothes made from hemp that's more sustainable than the banana this fiber?
Okay, we'll explore that. Hemp you mentioned. Okay. What do you think of this hoodie though?
Ma'am, it's good. It's like it is sustainable if it's made from banana leftovers or whatever it is. Then
So this
yeah,
one is
it's
not banana actually. Then this one, so the previously we were talking about the banana canvas. This is a different product from the same brand. It's actually made from 40% organic cotton, which was actually coming from your landfills, and 60% was again a sustainable fabric. So now tell me, what do you think?
मैम ठीक है हो जाएगा काम या
हो जाएगा, ले लोगे, खरीद लोगे?
हाँ मैम अगर डिजाइन अच्छा होगा तो then we can give a second thought.
Great, I like that. We're talking now. Who else? Who else would like to buy this off the bat? It's sustainable, guys. 100% recyclable. Chaitanya, anyone else?
I guess, ma'am, depending on the price, I'd probably buy it. It's
Okay.
comparing it to a normal hoodie. If it's way too expensive, then probably not.
Okay. But would you buy it for the sustainability aspect of it? Since it's organic cotton and 100% recyclable, would that interest you?
I would, but comparing it to the general perspective of Indian society, I don't think many people would.
Okay. All right. Also,
That was
and now,
a nice answer. Prince Kumar Gupta also wants to say something.
yes, go ahead.
एक्चुअली जो बनाना फैब्रिक्स है वो तो अभी जो फैब्रिक्स उसका आता ब्रांचेस से वो तो एक्चुअली अभी यूज हो रहा है नैपकिन्स वगैरह में क्योंकि वो गुड ऑब्जर्वर ऑफ वाटर है लेकिन अगर देखा जाए तो बॉम्बू फैब्रिक्स जो होता है वो तो मैम बेस्ट यूजेज है वो भी तो सस्टेनेबल ही है
Absolutely.
और
Absolutely.
और इंडिया देखा जाए तो इंडिया आज भी चाइना से इंपोर्ट कर रहे हैं बॉम्बू फैब्रिक्स
Yes. Yes.
और तो हम अभी बनाना जो फैब्रिक्स है बेसिकली जो नैपकिन पे यूज हो रहे हैं तो हुडी हम ज्यादा प्रेफर नहीं कर सकते हैं ना
अच्छा, बट आपको लगता है कि ये जो कंपनी का क्लेम है कि ये 100% रिसाइक्लेबल मटेरियल से बना है, जिसमें कि 40% लैंडफिल से आया हुआ है और बाकी का 60% एक सस्टेनेबल मटेरियल है, तो आपको लगता है ये क्लेम कंपनी का सही है?
मैम क्लेम तो सही है कि ये सस्टेनेबल है। जो ब्रांचेस बनाना के जो ब्रांचेस होते हैं, हर जो बनाना के ब्रांचेस हैं उससे बनते हैं, लेकिन जो बनाना के
हम्म।
ब्रांचेस से बनते हैं वो थिकर होते हैं उनके लेयर। तो
अच्छा,
ये
एक
हुडी
एक सॉरी टू
हुडी
कट यू, एक कंफ्यूजन है यहाँ पे। बनाना का जो कैंपेन था वो कैनवस का था बैग्स के लिए, वो पिछला स्लाइड था। ये सेम कंपनी का एक और प्रोडक्ट है, ये वाला बनाना फाइबर्स से नहीं बना है, ये सिर्फ लैंडफिल का जो 40% का कपड़ा है उसके फाइबर से बना है, और बाकी का 60% एक सस्टेनेबल फैब्रिक से बना है। तो ये थोड़ा कंफ्यूजन मैं क्लियर करना चाह रही हूँ, बिकॉज आई थिंक हमने बैक टू बैक स्लाइड्स की हैं, तो आप लोगों को लग रहा है कि ये भी बनाना का है, बट ये वाला बनाना फैब्रिक का नहीं है, राइट? तो अब आप इसको उस नजरिए से देख के मुझे बताओ कि आपको क्या लगता है।
हमें मैम ये एक्चुअली जो हुडी होता है वार्म फैब्रिक के यूज में हम करते हैं, कोल्ड सीजन में यूज करते हैं, और
हम्म।
जो ये है उतना वार्म होगा नहीं। इसके अकॉर्डिंग हम अगर बॉम्बू फैब्रिक्स यूज करेंगे तो वो ज्यादा वार्म होगा और बहुत ही ज्यादा बेटर भी होगा।
ठीक है, ठीक है। और जो ये कंपनी कह रही है कि ऑर्गेनिक है और सस्टेनेबल है, वो आपको चलता है?
वो
वो
तो
ठीक
है
है?
मैम, वो
वो
तो
है?
है, ऑर्गेनिक है।
ठीक है,
फोर्टी
ऑर्गेनिक
परसेंट
है।
बोल रहा है, 100% नहीं है तब तो ऑर्गेनिक है। 40% उसने ऑलरेडी क्लेम कर रखा, 100% तो बोल नहीं रखा, तो फिर हम कैसे बोल दे कि वो ऑर्गेनिक नहीं है।
ठीक है। वेरी 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 इंटरेस्टिंग पॉइंट प्रिंस, थैंक यू।
थैंक यू
मैं
मैम।
आई विल एक्चुअली टेक दिस पॉइंट एंड मूव टू द नेक्स्ट स्लाइड राइट नाउ, because Prince, I hate to tell you, but you've been
या
partly greenwashed. And I'll tell you why now. ये जो क्लेम है, जब हम प्रोसेस में जाते हैं रिसाइक्लेबल फैब्रिक के, हमें अब ये सोचना है कि ये रिसाइक्लेबल फैब्रिक बनता कैसे है, राइट? ये हो कैसे रहा है काम। अब आपका जो लैंडफिल में से फैब्रिक आ रहा है, उसके थ्रेड्स अलग हो रहे हैं, बेल्स बन रहे हैं, एंड सबसे बड़ा नुकसान होता क्या है कि इस पूरे रिसाइकलिंग के प्रोसेस में आपका जो फैब्रिक है कॉटन का, वो पतला होता जाता है, ठीक है? दैट लूजेस इट्स स्ट्रेंथ, इट लूजेस इट्स ड्यूरेबिलिटी, इट लूजेस टेक्सचर, और इसको फिर स्ट्रॉन्ग करने के लिए बाकी जो है फाइबर्स इसमें ऐड होते जाते हैं, राइट? तो ये क्लेम कि ये पूरी तरीके से ऑर्गेनिक और सस्टेनेबल है, ये आपको सोचना है। लाइक आई सेड, ये पूरी तरीके से ऑर्गेनिक और सस्टेनेबल नहीं होता है, एंड इसलिए मैं कह रही हूँ कि जब भी आप कोई भी लेबल देखें, कोई भी चीज, किसी भी कंपनी का कोई क्लेम पढ़ें, तो नेक्स्ट टाइम आप उसको सोचें जरूर कि ये कितना सही है और कितना गलत। सो
या
that's why when we buy things, H&M, I've been a victim of it. I have bought
नहीं नहीं मैम, मैंने
Zara
फोकस
conscious
किया, जैसे
products.
पिछले कंसेंट में किसी ने बोला कि ये हुडी बाई करेंगे, ट्राई करेंगे, लेकिन हमने हुडी जब बाई करेंगे तो हम तो पर्पस है कोल्ड से बचने के लिए, वार्म क्लॉथ हम परचेज करने के लिए कर रहे हैं। तो बेसिकली अगर देखा जाए तो बॉम्बू जो फैब्रिक्स होता है, जिससे आज के डेट में ट्रेंड जो कंपनी है, बेसिकली पूरा ट्रेंड का जो भी टॉवल आ रहा है बॉम्बू फैब्रिक से बनता है। आदित्य बिरला एकमात्र इंडिया में जो इंपोर्ट करते हैं 90% बॉम्बू फैब्रिक्स यान।
करेक्ट, ओके।
तो वो ज्यादा बेटर होगा ना इस चीज में, क्योंकि यहाँ पे हमें अपनी वर्थ हो, पैसा की जो स्पेंड करेंगे उसकी वर्थ इट तो होने पड़े ना। ये सस्टेनेबल है ठीक है, लेकिन इसकी यूजेज कहीं और है मेरे अनुसार से, जहाँ तक
बिल्कुल
मेरे को
बिल्कुल, और
नॉलेज है।
इसीलिए जब हम लग्जरी इंडस्ट्री की
और
बात
आज
करते
के डेट में
हैं।
देखा जा भी जा रहा है तो ये यूजेज नैपकिन वगैरह, जैसे बच्चे के ये पैम्पर्स वगैरह, हगिस वगैरह आते हैं, वो सारे चीजें में अब जहाँ पहले बॉम्बू यूज होते थे फैब्रिक्स, अब इसका कॉटन बना के गुड ऑब्जर्वर ऑफ वाटर है तो वहां पे यूजेज हो रहे हैं। इसका
बिल्कुल
अल्टरनेटिव हम बेसिकली यूज बता रहे हैं, उससे कोई मतलब वो नहीं है। जहाँ पे इसे प्रमोट करना चाहिए हम बेसिकली वो चाह रहे हैं, उस वहां पे इस चीज को प्रमोट किया जाए।
ओके ओके, तो यही है कि हम नए मटेरियल्स को बेसिकली एक्सप्लोर करें और एज अ कंट्री सेल्फ सफिशिएंट बने उन मटेरियल्स के लिए, राइट? यही आपका
हाँ
कहना है प्रिंस?
हाँ जी, हाँ जी, हाँ जी
बिल्कुल।
मैम।
ठीक है, तो
आई
अब
थिंक व्हाट प्रिंस इज ट्राइंग टू से कि ये सब जो मटेरियल है अभी ये सिर्फ नैपकिन्स और डायपर्स और इन सब में यूज हुआ है, ये क्लोथिंग में अभी तक आया ही नहीं है।
राइट
मैम आ
राइट
चुका है,
think.
आ चुका है, क्लोथिंग में आ चुका है मैम। क्लोथिंग में यान आ रहा है, बनाना यान बहुत आज से मतलब 2.5-3 साल से ये बनाना यान आ रहा है। इंडिया में मैन्युफैक्चरिंग इसकी स्टार्ट है,
ठीक है
Hi, Ammana.
इंडिया
चलो
में भी इसकी।
हाय who's
Hi,
प्रतिभा
thank you
मैम,
hi
यूज होगा
Pratibha
इसकी
प्रतिभा
क्लोथिंग
मैम,
इंडिया में।
member. How are
hi
you?
hello ma'am
प्रतिभा मैम कैमरा ऑन
Good.
करिए।
Good to see you here after a long time.
yes thank you ma'am, so nice to see you again.
I think Prince want to say that this is not useful for like this is not warm, so that's why not much useful. Yes, Prince.
Yes,
या
So this material is used means sustainable material should be used, but that should solve the purpose of like give warmth and all. So
yeah,
I think that you want to say, right?
I think that's a great point, because you know, when we talk about fulfilling utilities and answering functionalities of products, that's where a lot of people miss out on, and they end up being greenwashed because they think that utility, you know, at that time sustainability takes precedence over utility and function, because they're buying luxury products.
करेक्ट।
So nobody looks at utility and functionality. They're like, oh, I'm buying this. Oh, it's sustainable. I'm picking this up. Oh, it's biodegradable. Oh, it's 100% recyclable. Oh, I've saved the planet. You know, that's the thing. That's the
Right.
psychological
So these have
wordplay that
become more,
goes.
they are more of marketing terms rather than having an exact utility.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So now that I picked onto this one, that next time, guys, whenever you look at recycled cotton, please go back and do your research about recycled cotton. Not all of it is sustainable, because, like I said, your durability, your strength of the cotton tends to weaken when it's recycled constantly. There are added fibers, there are added materials to it to ensure that the strength of the fabric remains as it is. So always go back. Don't take the label for it, right? Go back to the supply chain. And you can. With the advent of internet, you absolutely can. Uh, Another interesting thing that companies nowadays use is that they use a lot of nature inspired visuals in their campaigns. I've seen this a lot over the years. I've seen this in luxury brands. I've seen this in mass premium brands. I see there's a lot of use of nature, you know, cotton bales as it is, a lot of nature that they use extensively in their campaigns. So again, picking up from Stella McCartney again, this was the campaign, right? And before I go into what it meant and how it happened, I want you guys to again have a conversation with me about it. What do you guys think about this campaign? I just want to know. That's it. What do you feel about it? What does it tell you? Just tell me. Be free and just tell me. What do you think?
Okay. Paravni.
Yes,
Paravni.
go ahead.
Hello, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes.
So, ma'am, according to what I see, I feel like they're trying to show that we are aware about, how sustainability should be, and we are friendly to the environment, even though whatever products they are making are not really friendly to the environment. Like, if, like, according, like, this is coats that the girl is wearing, and she's standing with the llamas. I feel that the coat is made from probably llama skin or the fur or something like that. So it's clearly not sustainable. But what they're trying to show is that we care about the planet and we care. So that's what I feel.
Interesting. That's a very good point. That's how marketers are doing it wrong. Go ahead. Who else?
Ankur, Ankur Saha has also raised hands since a long time.
Yes, go
Ankur,
ahead.
Ankur. Anybody else who would like to say something on it?
Anything, guys, anything that you feel about the campaign? It's working for you, it's not working for you, you think it's sustainable, you think it's greenwashed. Now that I would like to believe that you have an understanding of what greenwashing is. So I want you guys to question it.
Adhyan, what's your view over it? Adhyan, Ayush, Nandini. Nandini didn't join. These are the people who are like very active. Saksham.
Okay, I'll pick on a name now, guys. Don't want me to do that. Prince, what do you think of it?
मैंने क्वेश्चन उतना बढ़िया से सुना नहीं, आप क्वेश्चन एक बार फिर से रिपीट कर दो।
प्रिंस, मैं आपसे पूछना चाह रही हूँ कि आपको इस कैंपेन के बारे में क्या लगता है कि क्या ये एक सस्टेनेबल कैंपेन है, क्या ये ग्रीन वॉश्ड कैंपेन है? आपके क्या थॉट्स हैं कि आप पहली बार इसको देखते हो और आपको क्या लगता है इस कैंपेन के बारे में?
ये तो सस्टेनेबल है ही मैम, कैंपेन तो सस्टेनेबल कैंपेन है। और
आपको ये ग्रीन वॉश नहीं लग रहा?
मैम ग्रीन वॉश, हाँ ग्रीन वॉश भी हो सकते हैं, क्योंकि अगर फैब्रिक्स यूज किया हो वहाँ पे बॉम्बो फैब्रिक्स और जो ये बनाना फैब्रिक्स ये है, और यहाँ पे जो ऊल यूज हो रहे हैं ये भी वो है, तो फिर ये ग्रीन वॉश ही होंगे। बेसिकली नेचुरल मटेरियल है, नेचर से बायोडिग्रेडेबल है, तो फिर ये तो ग्रीन वॉश हो ही जाएंगे।
ओके ओके, ठीक है। और कोई इसके बारे में कुछ बोलना चाह रहा है? एनीवन वांट्स टू add to what Prince has said?
Mom, it seems a bit greenwashed to me.
Okay.
Because according,
Why do you think so?
At least from the recent the advertisements on biodegradability and all that I've seen, they mostly focus on the process and all that. They don't focus on showing it off. Like if you see the picture on the right, she's just standing there with, I don't know what they are. They look like furry llamas or something.
Yeah,
But
they are.
they usually don't go in the sense of showing it off like that. So it seems a bit greenwash to me, but tough to say.
Good. I like you guys are thinking. I'm so glad you guys are thinking about this. That's amazing. That's such a win for me. Now let's talk about these guys. Your Stan Smiths and your Converse. Tell me.
How to spot greenwashing? Nature-inspired visuals.
You know, on the Stan Smith, if you look closely, you can see even the imagery is of a planet and a flower and you know, like little clover leaves and things like that, and a tree is coming out of it. And if you see the Converse shoes, it's entirely, you know, the conceptualized and idealized around nature completely. So what do you think?
Ma'am, I think it is a greenwash activity because they are trying to attract more consumers, like they are playing with designs.
Yes, spot on. Go ahead. Who else wants to speak? Ankur has raised his hand twice.
But I think either it is by mistake or he's unable to mute.
Ah, okay, cool. Guys, what else? Speakers who spoke about the previous campaign, I want you to come in again and tell me, talk me through these two. Anyone?
Anybody?
Okay. Anyone, guys? One last comment I'll take.
Sanskar, please tell us something. Speak up something.
Hello.
Yes, Sanskar.
Ma'am, can you hear me, ma'am? Saksham.
Saksham, yes, we can hear you.
Ma'am, I think these shoes are greenwash because they're trying too much to garner attention towards, how they're using nature to showcase their products.
Yes.
While that not actually be the case.
Yes, that's true. That's true. So basically, companies are garnering attention by using elements from nature to actually, again, psychological mind play. Okay, you're using nature inspired visuals to claim or to show that a product is sustainable. Okay, very important. I'll go back to this. So materials is something you need to keep in mind every time you look at sustainability and greenwashing. You need to look at the visual communication of the brand as to what they're talking and what they want to communicate. And what they want to communicate is it actually happening in reality, or is it a misconception that they're trying to create? Is it ethical? Is it really sustainable? Now comes packaging. Gucci actually transitioned
Greenwashing
in
in
terms of packaging a while ago, while this hot topic, hot bun of, sustainability happened. I want you guys to now comment on this one. Go ahead. Any one of you. Please.
Amna, there is some network issues. Amna, there is some network issues. Why don't you switch off your camera?
Yeah, sure. Done. Is it better now? Ma'am, is it better?
Yes, it is much better now.
Okay, great. So I want you guys to talk about this one.
So how do you spot greenwashing in packaging? Come on, guys. Let's take this discussion forward. Prince had some very good views. We want more people to come up.
Yes. There are 320 of you guys. Come on, I'm sure one of you will be like, okay, let's see what Gucci has. What are they giving it to me? In what bag? What kind? You'll have one comment at least. Guys.
Prince, you want to speak? Saksham, Adhyan, Nandini, Paravni, Sonalika. Sonalika would be there.
Actually, by looking at the green bag of Gucci, it seems like more of a greenwashing because Gucci is trying to show that by using like green bags, they are more sustainable.
Great. Okay, that's a good start to the conversation. Who else wants to add to this?
I'm like basically we associate like something which is green is usually we consider ki it's sustainable. So they're trying to like get the focus of the clients ki what products we're providing, we're giving the sustainable packaging as well with the sustainable products. So they're
Okay.
promoting like usually more today in today's world, people are promoting the issue of using paper bags or something like which raises a concern or plastic bags. So by using it green way, they are showing that they're caring for the nature.
Okay. But okay, I want to actually ask you something. So if you think that they want to communicate that their packaging is sustainable, do you at the same time think about the paper, where it's coming from, what is it like, or you just think that, oh, it's green, it's good?
मैम एक्चुअली गुची हमें ये शो कर रहा है कि वो इकोसिस्टम को पे ध्यान दे रहा है और सीएसआर एक्टिविटी भी कर रहा है, जैसे आईटीसी जैसे सीएसआर एक्टिविटी करते हैं।
ओके।
आईटीसी जैसे सीएसआर एक्टिविटी करते हैं, जितना भी टबाकू यूज होता है उसमें तो टबाकू का जो पेपर बनता है वो प्लांट्स सारे कट होते हैं, तो उसके लिए वो प्लांटेशन करता है और सीएसआर एक्टिविटी के लिए वो प्रमोट भी करता है, जैसे किसी भी विलेज में प्लांटेशन करनी, जितने भी खर्चे हुए वो करिए, और सीएसआर मतलब एक्टिविटी कर रहा है अपने ब्रांड को प्रमोट करने के लिए।
ओके ओके, ठीक है, तो वो एक एडवर्टाइजिंग का मींस है उनके लिए, आप ये कहना चाह रहे हैं?
प्रमोट करने के लिए ये चीज इकोसिस्टम मतलब इको बेस्ड प्रोडक्ट यूज करने का चाह रहा है वो।
ओके, ठीक है, point taken, Prince. Who else wants? Someone's interrupting. Who else wants
someone
to speak?
is trying to speak. Yes.
Go ahead, go
Guys,
ahead.
so you put your hands up before you speak so that we can see who's speaking. Please go ahead.
No?
No.
Okay, that's fine. We'll hop on to this one. Uh, well, actually, Gucci is one of the few brands. Now here, I know most of you said it's greenwashing, but in the most literal sense, it's not. When you actually go and research more about it, you will realize that Gucci did transition in terms of packaging from being very clean and very, like, aesthetic and luxury, like black and white, pristine, just the right character for a luxury brand to promote in terms of packaging. It went on from that to green with the motifs. And literally, if you talk about Gucci, they actually go back to their supply chain. They're also a part of FSC, which is the Forest Stewardship Council, which I wish if I had more time, I would deliberate on that. But they actually ensure that the packaging that they source is supremely sustainable and ethical, and recycled at the same time. And even for their e-com ventures, e-com deliveries, the packaging that they give is reusable. So that actually brings me back to my question, that every time you see something, I want you guys to question it. Perception and biases are not going to work in 2024. You might think something is ethical and sustainable. It might not be in actuality. You might be getting greenwashed. And something like this, that it appears to be green to you, you're like, oh no, I'm being greenwashed, it's not sustainable. But when you actually question it, they are actually really, really in depth in research, and fully committed towards developing sustainable packaging. So, are you guys surprised on that? How many of you?
I am.
Yeah, no, honestly, take a chance, and if you go back to the Gucci website, they have this entire listing about their packaging. And if you go back to Kering as a group to which Gucci is a part of, you will realize that they, in terms of their commitment towards sustainability, they're really trying, in the most genuine sense, to make an impact. Yeah. So, guys, question things is all I want to say. There's no question that is going to be right or wrong, uh, but just question things. Yeah. Okay. Going back to Stella. Stella also does sustainable packaging, as you would know, because since the brand is so committed towards developing sustainable materials and working on the sustainable ecosystem, they also work extensively on developing sustainable paper and packaging. Now, what they do is, I actually want to share this with you. Very interesting concept. They have a thing called polybag collection scheme, which is based out of UK and at this time. That's where they did study this project. And what they did was, they actually went ahead and collected the poly bags, right, as a goodwill point project. So they had goods pilot poly bag collection scheme, and from multiple stores and across the city, these poly bags were actually collected. They were sorted and they were sent to recycling. The idea was that we want to create a circular loop, right, to reduce waste. I now want you guys to tell me, what do you think of it? What does it look like? Guys, what does it look like? You have poly bags that are getting collected from different stores. They're sorted, they're segregated, they're going for recycling. So instead of being incinerated, they are, or to be sent to a landfill, they're actually being recycled. What do you think of this? Greenwashing, sustainability, what?
They are trying to project themselves as a sustainable organization.
Okay,
Wait,
point
it is
taken.
I guess it is a sustainable practice, mom, since you're recycling all of the plastic that you've used.
Okay, okay,
Yes,
good,
ma'am. It is a sustainable project.
fair. Okay, go ahead. Who else? Okay, I want you to guys to take a step forward and actually go back. And I want you to think about the polybag is being collected, right? And they're being collected from various locations. So when they're being collected, do we ever question how they are being collected? Are you with me?
Yes.
Yes.
ma'am.
Okay. So do we ever question how they're being collected? So from store to store across the city, we're not questioning how they're being collected, A. We're not questioning how are they being transported, B. We're not questioning how are they being recycled, C. What we're looking at right now is, oh, there is a good scheme. And if you look at the words that are being used, it's called goods pilot poly bag collection, right? So poly, keyword, goods, keyword, pilot, okay, it's a beginning that they're making an initiative out of it. Oh, they're collecting all of this from us. Great. But again, going back, start questioning things, guys. We're not questioning very important questions here, that we're not asking the right questions. How is this being moved? How is this being transported? Where is this being transported? What facility is this being recycled to? There is absolutely no conversation about that. The only conversation is that we are collecting your polybags and we are recycling them. That's it. Now I want you to guys to think and really retrospect your answers. You know, I did discuss this with one of my colleagues, and I did have this conversation with her. And you know, on my, I actually want to take this moment and share that with you. And I said, you know, how are they being transported? They said, okay, to make it sustainable, then they should move in electric vehicles. Okay. And you and I would think that, okay, if they're moving in electric vehicles, that should be good, right? It's sustainable, no use of fuels, and so and so and so. And then again, I started questioning things. Where is the source of electricity? You know, is this solar powered? Is it coming from fossils? What is the source of electricity, guys? Look at the process in the most entirety of it. Please, that's like a request. When you look at the process, right from the ideation to the creation to the execution phase, please look at the process in the most entirety of it. What might appear to be sustainable or greenwashed, only when you go back to basics, only when you go back to the processes, you will realize the reality of things. So even for me, the answer was that, oh, even if you're doing it with electric vehicles, it might not be sustainable at the end of it. Because what if my vehicle is getting charged on fossil electricity and not on solar powered electricity? Because that is something ideally that we would want. So now, again, I want you guys to talk to me now. What do you think? Ma'am, what do
Sorry
you
if it
think?
comes off
Yes, Jen.
Hello? I'm sorry if
Yes,
it
Jen.
comes off as a bit of argumentative, but isn't it better if we're doing something in a certain way and it's achieving something, instead of just saying that, oh, the if the fuel is not electric, the battery is not, the battery is lithium ion, so it's not going to degrade properly. So instead of that, they're at least doing they're collecting polybags and they're recycling them in some way. Wouldn't that be better? And it's just my viewpoint, but
No, absolutely, Jayant. I completely agree with you. A drop in the ocean is better than none, right? I do second your thought
Hello.
process. Can you hear me?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah, just
Hello.
allow me to answer this one.
Okay,
I
ma'am.
do completely second Jayant's thought process, and I'm all for it. You know, like I said, a drop in the ocean is better than none. But my problem is not again with the process. My problem is with the claim. The claim that is being made by the company is that oh, the process is entirely sustainable. I understand that they're doing their bit, but then don't put it across like that. You know, be true, be real is the idea here, and we all must question that as end consumers, and as future managers I want you guys to question it, because I want you to be in all your positions in of authority. I want you to question the process from end to end, and I want you to also focus on the communication that is going out to the public. uh, and that is very important. The communication that is going out to the public is extremely important. And you know what happens here, Jayant, very interestingly, doing
Ma'am,
good
can
to
you
the
understand
brand.
my problem?
Yeah, just give me 1 second, just give me 30 seconds. I'll
Just
I'll, I'll wrap
just
this.
wait.
uh,
Okay,
Many a
ma'am, no
times what
problem.
these brands at their position, what happens is that instead of doing good, it actually takes away from them, because it does have a reverse impact on their reputation. So instead of them thinking that they're doing good, it it takes a hit. uh I'll definitely, we'll speak more. I understand there's someone waiting. Go ahead.
Sure. Thank you for the clarification. I completely agree with you, actually.
Thank you.
Ma'am, 30 seconds over, ma'am.
Go ahead.
Ma'am,
I
it's a
understand you're
very
very
urgent
eager. I want
question.
to hear
Who's
what you have to
that?
say.
Who's that? Prince Kumar.
Ma'am, no, ma'am. Ma'am, may I go washroom?
Oh, come on, guys. Don't act stupid here.
Ma'am, it's a very urgent question, ma'am. See,
Please go. Amna, I'm really sorry for that. Let's continue.
It's fine. It's okay. Go ahead. Who else wants to speak? I see Paravani. I hope I spelled
ma'am,
your
may I
name right.
come in?
Yes, you may. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you one thing. Like you said
Go
that,
ahead.
a person, a brand should be true, but for a marketer, isn't the like like you said that you should be true to the public, and it takes a hit, and I do get that. But like as a marketer, isn't it a marketer's responsibility to make the brand look good either way? And I get that the consumers are aware, but if someone like a common person would read that, they would be happy. So isn't the marketer's like point of view or the vision accomplished already? If like there are 100 people and out of them 90 people believe the brand, isn't the marketer's job done there?
Okay. So when we talk about running a company, that's how I would answer that. When we talk about running a company or executing an idea, uh, you understand that from the ideation of a product, right, to the execution of it, the marketer is one of those stakeholders. They actually join us at the very end of the game. I would like to say that. Okay. And once the product is ready and good to go to the market, there is a push, right? Of course, what marketer is doing here is then to push the product into the masses. But my problem is that when we run an organization, we should run it in the most entirety of it and take a holistic approach. So, right from the very ideation phase, the product needs to be really thought after, right? And your conflict was what, Priyavamini, exactly?
All I said, like I get your point, okay, and I
Yeah.
support your thing that there are a lot of things that go like on the back end before the marketing starts of a product. When a
Yes.
product is developed and everything, when an idea is also developed, there's a lot of work that goes into it. My question is that the job of a marketer is to make a brand or a product look good so that people buy it, right? Be it an idea or be it a product, the marketer wants people to actually buy it and to sell an idea. So if like the Stella McCartney, the scheme you told us about, if even if even 90 people are buying that, so isn't it like the marketer's job is done? So how is it wrong? Like I know that greenwashing is wrong for consumers. You are putting them in the dark, and I get that. But if it is bringing benefit to the brand, then isn't that like good for the brand itself?
I'll tell you what, in retrospect and in practice, than in theory, when we talk about these benefits, Pravavni, they actually do us more harm than good. I know that, I'm sure you must be aware of this recent campaign that Zara did in the wake of Palestine and Israel war.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
right.
Hmm.
So
Yes.
there, the marketer's job again was to make the brand look good, right? And people are buying Zara anyway. So the thing here is that there is also a fair amount of social responsibility that comes with us when we run a brand with that spectrum and that audience. Social responsibility is also a part. Has a lot to do with social sustainability and injustice at the same time. Sustainability is not all about environment. Sustainability is about your people, about your employees. It's about your welfare. It's about your labor. It's about China. It's about working conditions in Bangladesh. It's about problems related to Sheen. Sheen is selling. Marketers are doing what they're doing. Zara did what it had to do. So ultimately, whether the job is done or not, whether it's right or wrong, you always need to go back to what your brand's vision and goal is. Do you want to be deemed as a selling brand and be socially unjust at the same time? See, ultimately Zara had to take that campaign down. Like it or not, it was off the shelf. Those products were off the shelf. And so ultimately the responsibility lies on the brand as to what their communication and how they want to run it in the eyes of people. And it's not just the benefit of selling 90 products. No, it's not. There's a lot more to it. I hope
Right.
that solves your
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
query.
Yeah, yeah. All right.
Okay. So now that we spoke about this one, I again want to go back to keywords. I really want you guys to memorize them. I did memorize them at one point. So every time I see eco-friendly, upcycled, natural, ethical, organic, low impact, clean, green, recyclable, conscious. Uh, Actually, but there's one example that I just got reminded while I was having this conversation with Paravani. I was reminded of this H&M case uh, wherein they claim to recycle. I'm sure you guys are aware of it. They take back your clothes. They give you a 15% off on it. How many of you are aware of that, guys? Has anyone done that before?
I think most of us.
Yeah.
I'm terribly sorry. I'm terribly sorry, ma'am. Could you please repeat that?
So H&M actually has a program in which you bring your old clothes to them and they give you a 15% markdown on it. It's a recycling program that they have. Are you guys aware of that?
Yeah, yeah. It does. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's ongoing. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now, I'm taking that point from here. Look it up. Okay. Look that program up. And I'm not sure where exactly in the world that happened, but someone actually put an air tag in their clothes just to see where these clothes land up. Right. So on the face of it, it's a very sustainable campaign. Huh? It's very good. But those clothes actually landed up in a landfill. Uh, because of the air tag, they were able to like figure out the location and everything, and they actually, it turns out that it was the clothes ended up in a landfill. So from the face of it, 15% walk down, the company has nothing to lose, let's be honest. And it's a sustainable program, but in hindsight, it was actually not. And there was a lot of backlash that happened after that, but of course there are commitments that brands make. So see, marketers' job done right. People are going, giving their clothes back. But again, the process is defective, right? So you can't fix that. So that's very important. Go back to these words, guys. Every time anything claims to be eco-friendly or organic, question it. Next time you buy something, pick a label. Please question it. Please, that's like a request. Okay, this is very like close to my heart. I'll tell you why. Because I'm sure you guys have also like been there, done that, done 4 P's of Kotler, done 7 P's of marketing. Everyone has done that, been there, done that. These are my 5 P's of greenwashing. Okay, so my 5 P's of greenwashing is your purpose, your planning, your processes, your people, and planet. I'll actually like debrief a little bit on these. Purpose is, of course, I think every time as an end consumer, end to end, and as a corporation, You need to know where your company's purpose is. I think that's extremely important. You need to know where your stand is. You need to know what the vision and the mission of your company is, what your goals are, what your sustainability goals are, where do you want to stand in the eyes of public. That purpose eventually needs to translate in your planning. While you are planning not just a fashion collection, while you're planning your supply chain, while you are figuring out how your supply chain should be, that purpose needs to translate in that planning phase of it. uh, Planning will obviously translate into your processes. Your processes need to be aligned with your purpose and your planning. Ultimately, you need to loop in all your people, your people, your employees, your stakeholders, into believing that what your purpose is stands right, and all of that needs to have a positive impact on the planet. And that's how I think we all will close the loop. Otherwise, I don't think there's a way to do that. If we talk about supply chain specifically, we talk about end to end between, we always think of manufacturing when it comes to supply chain, but we don't think about things like a Swiggy or a Blinkit, which is giving you quick commerce in 10 minutes. That is supply chain. Everything you need to question, everything is supply chain these days, guys. Sorry. So as a company, I did on a, again, in my individual capacity, I did see Blinkit. And I saw that a lot of them were moving on e-bikes, and they can easily go 12 hours on e-bikes. So I understand that Blinkit wants to do a 10-minute delivery. But again, even on the EV, there are a number of turns involved, right? How many times will you be able to do that part in the quick commerce part of it? So as a company, am I aligned with my purpose? Do I really want to do this? I don't know. Is my planning up for it? Yes. How many people like Blinkit are actually having e-bikes? Does Swiggy have? Does Denzo have? Does Zepto have? There's so many of them now. Are my people getting affected with it because there's this constant pressure to do a 10-minute delivery? What am I having an impact on the planet? How are my people getting impacted? How my end consumers are getting impacted? Now, this is a very small supply chain I'm talking about. If I talk about a bigger network, right? I talk about EVs a lot because it's a hot topic. But again, going back to whether they're solar powered, whether they're fossil powered, India as a country is extensively dependent on trucking. We're very low, we're still underdeveloped in terms of our rail network. So, and we're landlocked from a lot of regions, like India, like if you talk about Delhi is completely landlocked, and we are the capital of the country. So we need to find ways and means that are aligned with our purposes, that are aligned with our processes. And until and unless we don't achieve that alignment, it's not going to go anywhere, guys. And of course, as future managers, 10 years down the line, I really want you to have this dialogue. uh, I want you to reflect back and say that, okay, if I did this, if I took this call, uh, I know in retrospect what it means, and I know the reality of it. Knowing reality of things is very important. I leave you at that, but of course we're gonna have a conversation now. And yes,
Amna,
so
I had one
feel
question.
free. Go ahead.
Amna, so
Yes.
since we are talking of these 10-minute delivery apps,
Yeah.
somehow
Quick commerce.
I
Yes.
always feel that quick commerce, why do we have the need to get something delivered in 10 minutes? Why can't that thing wait?
It's
Why
called
do we
instant
work?
gratification. We
Yes,
are
that is what. Why are we living in a world of, see, I also order through these. So I am also into that bandwagon, but why do we need to have that instant gratification? So if there is no tea at my home and I order it and get it done, it's okay. But then it can be always be substituted. So, you know, I always ask this question in my class also, although my students would be knowing that why do we have this need at all? That the
yes.
product has to be delivered in 10 minutes, and then we say we have a supply chain, it's on a green
So
scooter.
robust.
Yes, it's so robust, and it's something like, it's something like when we order, then there is somebody who's just standing at the gate waiting for the product, and he just comes and delivers it to you. Why do we have this need of instant gratification?
Yes,
Why
I
is
think as
being
consumers,
promoted?
we
Because
are.
they're impatient, that's why.
Pardon?
Ma'am, maybe because they're impatient, that's why.
Yeah,
Y-
very impatient. I think as consumers, we have become very impatient, impulsive, and there's a lot of noise that surrounds us that does not allow us to make conscious decisions. Even if I talk about the fashion industry, we talk about fast fashion a lot, and
Yes.
that is instant gratification. You know, fast fashion is instant gratification because it's so driven by trends. Every time I put up a picture on Instagram, I want to know if I'm repeating my outfit or not. Did I post a picture in the same outfit
Or
previously or
I want to
not?
know how many reactions are coming within 10 minutes.
Yeah, and there's so much noise that we're surrounded with that even there's the slightest of hesitation in repeating outfits per se. That is
Yes.
sustainable, investing in slow fashion is sustainable, right? Reuse of clothes is sustainable. So I like I said, we're surrounded by so much noise that it does not allow us to make these conscious decisions. And this instant
Right.
validation is also there. So I think it's validation and gratification together. And also, just to add, I think we're becoming very lazy. That's the end of
Yes.
it.
matlab, I've always been saying that why do we need that instant gratification? We, like I and you, belong to totally different generations, but I'm sure you people have been brought up this way that अच्छा कोई बात नहीं अगर ये नहीं है तो let's manage with something else. But आज की डेट में no, you can just order and it is delivered. So we are actually making our next generation impatient.
Impatient, hostile. Yes.
And
um,
if they
uh,
don't get, then we hear of instances where somebody delivered it at a breakneck speed and he got some award, and then we are glamorizing that concept. Why
that's
should
what.
we be doing that?
That's what, when I talk about this constant pressure of having a product delivered in 10 minutes, there is a certain impact that is there on that mile end delivery guy. And
Yes, yes,
we're
yes.
losing sight of things. That's why whenever I, even through the presentation I was talking about, I was like, end to end, guys, from ideation to creation to execution, end to end, is the need of the hour. And end to end really needs to be, no one's talking about robust supply chains, no one talks about resilient supply chains. We all know that we're capable of
अलग
that,
अलग
we
बनने
can do it, but not at the cost of a lot of other things, guys. No. Someone wanted to speak.
Exactly. And I also like your this concept of sustainability on Instagram. So, like, I'm a new entrant to Instagram, but I have seen a lot of influencers who are actually talking about how to repeat their outfits, and they are
Hmm.
posting photos over a period of years that how they have been repeating the same dress. Trying to give it a different look. I think that kind of we need that kind of a system, and we need to bring those things into the main line rather than this fast fashion and things which are moving fast and everything.
Yes, yes, absolutely. No, of course there is utility, functionality, and fashion, the way we call it. But that's the thing, with trends, they keep on changing. Like we do earlier on, we used to have a spring, summer, and an autumn, winter. Now we have a
Right.
cruise, we have a holiday, we have a special capsule collection, we have a collaboration. On top of that, we're doing Ramadan specials as well globally. So guys, it's a lot of drops through the season, through different luxury fashion brands that are getting involved every day. So even the drops as you go keep on increasing, and at times I lose track. I'll be honest.
Oh, so these luxury brands are also starting this kind of a concept that that particular brand can be recycled, pre-loved. Any
Yes.
ideas on that? How does that go
So
about?
I'll definitely add on to that. I think there was a LVM. So you must have heard of Vestiaire Collective. So those who haven't can actually look back at it. So Vestiaire Collective was actually one of the few emergents back. It's based out of Europe. They were the first ones to actually pioneer the concept of pre-loved, pre-owned,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
So just to give a second life to a product, that's what they call it, a second life to complete the circular economy, the concept came forth. But again, when I did a bit of research in India, it's still in a very nascent stage, because our cultural orientation is not aligned with pre-loved and pre-owned
Hmm.
items. So we would take hands down from our family, but buying something which is not new is still a bit of a hesitation. Like,
Correct.
I'll give you an example. We at times, there are people who try a pair of shoes, or who try a pair of t-shirt or denims. They would say, इसमें आप नया पीस दो, ये वाला नहीं चाहिए, हम खरीद रहे हैं बट नया पीस दो, you know. So even that, there is a roadblock. So of course we have miles to go when it comes to second life management in fashion. And because everyone is adapting fast fashion so much, that your industry for second life management is very limited. So
I
yes, Pravani, go ahead.
I would like
Paragni.
to I would like to add something to what you said. Like when you say pre-loved and pre-owned, I have an example for that. And
Mhm.
I don't know if it'll go exactly like with what you said, but like I am a sneakerhead. Okay, so I like collecting sneakers. Now, even in that, if they're even worn once, the price depreciates like by quite a lot. So, and people, and they always state that this is pre-owned or whatever, and people will be hesitant to buy those shoes because they've been worn. Like, I went to a store in London who were resellers, and they said you can't try it on because once you try it on, the value will get depreciated, so we can't sell it at the same price. So I feel like, at least for Indians, it is like even buying second-hand cars is looked down upon because they've
Right.
already been owned and everything. So yes,
Yes.
I do agree that the fact of like, and I've seen like in London there are so many thrift stores which are already mostly already owned clothes, and people wear them, and that's okay. But with our culture, it's actually kind of looked down upon. Like somebody's already
Absolutely.
worn the clothes. So I do agree with you when you say that.
Yeah, I think we have, as consumers, we have miles to go when it comes to pre-owned, pre-luxury, pre-loved. Even though we call it pre-loved, whatever, we have miles to go before we actually adapt it as a consumption pattern. Our consumption patterns are limited to, buy, use, throw,
By
give,
use throw.
and that give is usually to the have nots of the society. That
Correct.
also has been changing a lot lately, because people just want to just throw away, or concepts like H&M are coming but not doing well in the most practice of it. So it's just buy, use, throw, give, and that's the end of it. Where it lands up, what happens with it, we never question that. And I think those are important questions we need to ask ourselves next time we are buying something. um, and
Even
it's a very important question.
Amna, even the have-nots have an access to a lot of products, new
Yeah.
products. So they are not interested to have something from us. Rather, they'll go and buy a new product from the market, because we have a whole lot of new products which are much cheaper.
Yeah,
They may not be quality, but they are cheaper and they are new. So they have that
absolutely.
concept.
Absolutely.
And I'll just tell you, I'll share one more thing. So, like Paravni was talking about thrift stores in India, also there are a few websites which have come up where
Hmm.
you can sell your old clothes, which are actually bought by people, and
Hmm.
I'm sure they're using it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can sell some old clothes, toys, or like some things, your daily household things, and they have a very excellent supply chain network. I have tried it myself,
Yeah.
and they have a very excellent supply chain network where they pick up things from you and they
Yeah.
deliver it to somewhere else. So the one who sells just gets some points, or which can be converted into some other thing,
Cash, or yeah.
and so that is how that cycle works. But we
I
need to
think what's
have.
really working in that industry is your wedding wear, your bridal wear, because a lot of people have realized that they're blocking too much money. So the concept of rent and then selling is becoming a hot topic. So they want to resell or rent, because again there are space constraints. We live in national capital
Tiny
region in
houses,
Bombay.
yes.
There are space constraints for storage. So
Right.
again, everything has a domino effect. So every time you buy something, goes back and goes ahead. So look at both the things. Anamika, go ahead. I think
Anamika, by
yeah, I
mistake.
think we lost her. And
Yes, so
yeah,
hmm.
please.
So we need to, we need to, I think it's not just true for bridal wear. I have seen it for so many other things. But
Mhm.
maybe I don't know how many takers would be there. So like rightly said, maybe I may not want to pick up even a pre-loved car, however big it may be, however luxury car it may be. But yes, we need to bring, along with talking about sustainability, we have to bring this kind of a concept into our culture, that
Yes.
this is also something which can be owned and loved. Pre-loved can also be loved as good as something else. So
And
yes, we have.
corporations, consumers feed what companies give. I'll say it up loud,
Yes.
right?
Hello,
So I
am I
think
audible?
there's a huge onus that lies on us also to make sure that we're giving them the right thing to consume at the
Hmm.
end of the day. I feel responsible. I do feel responsible in a sense that I do want one day that whatever we're putting out for the public, I do want to make sure that it's the right thing. Anamika?
Absolutely. Yes, Anamika.
Yes, ma'am. So, ma'am, recently I was at IIM Ahmedabad and
Mm-hmm.
we were having a conversation on subcontracting, on how these big brands like subcontract their clothing factories and laborers into very small countries like Bangladesh, Cambodia, etc. And they
Yes.
mentioned about the Rana Plaza collapse that happened in Bangladesh in 2013 when
Mm-hmm.
almost 1,000 workers died under the debris when the
Yeah.
building collapsed. So this is what I was reminded of when we were talking about these things, that I think we should also be kind of conscious about where the things are coming from, as you
Yes.
said, like the supply
Yes.
chain. And so yeah,
Yes.
that's what I wanted to add to it.
No, that's a very good point, Anamika. In fact, if you are interested in similar topic, I understand that at the governance point of view, our government today is also looking at various ways and means to curb uh, imports in a sense that could have an impact on our country and consumption patterns. I'll give you an example here. I'm not sure how many of you know about BIS. BIS is Bureau of Indian Standards, and they are the ones that are responsible for managing and coming up with standards for product standards. So, okay, let me give you an example. So, anyone growing up, I saw it. You had your pressure cookers and you had your utility items which had an
Yes.
ISI mark, right? That
Right.
is essentially BIS. That is what you need to know at this point of conversation. So these guys are actually coming up with standards for everything. They're coming up with standards for shoes, for textiles, for footwear, only to curb imports which are of low quality, right? And I'll tell you, today, Indian government has, BIS has put a restriction on imports of footwear, sports footwear, and sandals and slippers. Okay, in India, you cannot import it unless and until your manufacturer, guys, listen to this one, it's very important, unless and until your manufacturer is BIS certified. So your manufacturer needs to be BIS certified, only then you will be able to import. So the onus does not lie on the importer, it lies on the manufacturer. Again, going back to supply chain, going back to the very ideation phase, where is the product being produced? Now in the process, what is happening is a lot of brands like Nike, Decathlon, and Skechers, they have been forced to move production to India, wherein they comply with BIS standards to ensure that working standards are met, right? Your labor conditions are met, which Anamika mentioned. We have a lot of cases from Bangladesh, we have a lot of cases from China where Uyghurs are forced into labor. A lot of things are out there and we know it. So a lot of these things are coming here now, so that there is a regulation in place for these products. So if you any one of you is interested, please look up BIS footwear. That is the new hot topic for supply chain and import and export industry in India, because everyone needs to comply. So right now, if you tell me that you're buying your sneakers, and who was a sneakerhead? Paravani was a sneakerhead. I think it really impacts you. Yeah,
Yeah,
it,
I
it
read that
really
article.
impacts. Oh, you've read that?
I read
Bang
an
on.
article on that. Yeah.
Yeah, so your imports are restricted now till your manufacturer is complying with that, and so a lot of these changes are happening at the governance level of it, which is very important, because unless and until doesn't the government also doesn't push these things, people will not comply. And Governments along with corporations together, I think, if they go hand in hand, they can really make an impact. And consumers are willing to change. People change. Today you say makhana is a fad food. Tomorrow you say no, it's a good thing to eat. People will switch. Today you say organic cotton is good. Tomorrow you say bamboo fabric is good. People will switch. The only thing is that you need to make an initiative in the right direction for them to switch. And yeah, I think that's the biggest takeaway.
So makhana was a very good example. It just happened a few days back. I was picking up some groceries and I was surprised at the rates of makhanas.
Yes.
And the shopkeeper
Yes.
said, he reminded that last time also you took at the same rate, ma'am. Why are you surprised? It has been the same since a long time. Ever since COVID, the makhanas are in top, selling like top products.
Because they're deemed as such.
They
So
are deemed.
jaggery, good, is deemed as such. So things like that. Again, like I said, we just need to direct people in the right direction, in our own individual capacities. And If you have the awareness and you have your mind and your heart in the right direction, I think we can make conscious decisions, as individuals, as corporations, as future managers. Guys, please, go ahead, and you have a world to conquer. Just make sure you do it right.
In fact, that was a very interesting and a very healthy discussion that we had. Okay. Pratibha ma'am, if you want to say something, or else,
Yes.
or anybody else who has to say anything. If you have
Any thoughts,
any thoughts, if any
inputs?
other faculty members have joined, I would request them to please raise hands, because there are a whole lot of students. I just can't see anybody. So I can make you as attendee. No. Okay.
Ma'am,
So
I have one
Amna,
question.
yes,
Yes.
Ayush.
Ma'am, is there any specific skills required to be successful in this career, like which
In
you are
supply
working?
chain.
Yes, ma'am. And within more in luxury marketing.
Okay. I If you talk about a particular skill, not just in this industry, I'll tell you, in life in general, there is one thing that you need to be acceptable of, is change. I cannot begin to emphasize how much things change for us. Today it's the Red Sea Houthi rebellion. So my shipments that were moving by sea are now moving by air. Today I have a BIS regulation, so I might not be able to sell clothes. I have to make a plan B, and every action I take has a business consequence, right? There is money involved, there is commercials involved. So I think you should be willing to change and to act very quickly. There is no time. I call my cabin, like our cabin, I call it the war room. you know there are there's just constant change that is happening all the time. But of course, other than that, you need to be very agile. I think very agile. Agility is of prior importance. Like, if you're agile, you're good. uh, to be very honest, my individual characteristics did not align with marketing and with PR. I realized I was good with numbers very early on, and I could do them better. I could, be better at that. And Of course, analytical thinking is very important. You really need to question things. You can't take things uh, just the way you're being served. You have to question why this is the way this is, and never stop asking questions. Never. I think that's it.
Okay.
Thank you so much,
And
ma'am.
know your fundamentals. Like, know your fundamentals. Know what you think is right, and stand
Yes,
by it, no matter what, who says what.
yes, ma'am. Thank
Okay,
you, ma'am.
Amna, one last question on behalf of students. One piece of
Yes.
advice you would like to give them, how they can, so like as a student, what they should do as a student to be good professionals later in life.
I want to break this answer into two, ma'am, if I may.
Okay. Yes,
Uh,
please.
and without being like I want, without being, don't judge me for saying this, but being the reason why I'm answering it in two ways is, of course, I'm giving a generic answer, but I'm giving a different answer to the girls who are listening to me, and I'm giving a different answer to the boys who are listening to me.
Okay.
When I say girls, being in supply chain, we don't really meet a girl, a woman who is
Right. I can
in the
agree.
field. Yeah.
Right.
I've had to walk in conference rooms full of men uh, who would first had to come to terms with कि ये क्या हुआ है, ये
जज
कौन है,
करेंगे, ये
हाँ
जज
ये मतलब
करेंगे.
कौन आ गया, अच्छा आप हैं, हाँ okay, and they would look at my business card and they would be like, okay, oh, we have to take her word seriously. And secondly, I've had even though I know I was right, I was questioned, I was there was a lot of backlash I had to face from men, essentially. I'm not, no offense to the boys listening to me, but for any girl who wants to pursue this career, I want you to know that I'm not going to say that, oh, it's so difficult, it's not easy, it's the end of the world. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying stand firm on your ground, know what's right, and just stand by it. And you can do it, anyone can do it, it's not rocket science. Right. And of course, the generic statement then goes that I think as students, of course, you need to get your grades right. Otherwise, companies will not take you seriously. Let's just face it. You really need to take care of your grades. If you're looking at now, that also depends whether you want to look at as a professional career or you want to your entrepreneurial. That also differentiates. Even being an entrepreneurial, you need to have the will and the wit to get the numbers right. So you need to have your negotiation, you need to have your network, you need to have other things right. So general life advice would be focus on what you're doing, right? One thing at a time, that done well. That's it. I think you
Good.
need to
Uh,
prioritize. Yeah.
oh, yeah, that was great. You just do everything right. So I remember Amna got a campus placement also. I don't know whether she joined it or not.
Yes, I
And
did get two. I got two. Yeah. Yeah.
and I think they were always in the forefront of every activity, every class activity, every club activity. And
Yeah.
all those who joined us on time must have listened that she still repents missing out on the gold medal.
I do. By 0.23%. I
Point to
do.
this. So you can
Uh,
imagine the type of student she was, that she still repents missing on that. Well, Amna, it was a great having you with us.
Thank you, ma'am.
And you were an excellent orator. I had no
Thank
doubts
you.
about it, but you proved it. And I am feeling privileged sitting on the other side, listening to you, mesmerized by your voice and the thoughts that you have. I
Thank you.
really
Thank you, ma'am.
appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule, and so I would like to close this discussion today. Thank you so much, Amna. And next, I
Thank
would
you.
like
Just
to
one
invite
last
you.
thing. You guys can reach out
Yes.
to me on LinkedIn. Anyone who wants to have any conversation, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm pretty approachable, accessible, right in time. Whenever in my capacity, I will be able to address your questions with regards to even the industry. If you want to, if you have any questions or its career options or choices of my limited, of whatever limited I've achieved, I hope to help you in my capacity that I can.
Yes. And next, we would like to invite you on campus for some event, and
I
we
love
look
that.
forward to meeting you.
Definitely. Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. Absolute pleasure, absolute honor. Thank you for listening to me, guys. You've been exceptional audiences. For everyone who has participated, I really hope to see you guys and put a face to your names in future.
Yeah. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, everybody.